Hi, I'm Holt McCallany, and you're watching Real Fans, Real Talk.
Face facts, what up? Real Fans, RealTalk.com. Where Arthur Diamonds, Trip Yung, and intern Tom. For the white and black fans, Asia to Manhattan. I get all my facts from my bro, Mark the Statsman. If you're not tuned in, I recommend the CAT scan. And if your brain checks out, then you deserve a backhand. Sports, gossip, all the hot topics. Real Fans, RealTalk.com got it. They got the hottest bloggers. Jeremy Linhart? Well, log onto the site and you can hear it from them first. I'm talking about the latest. I'm talking about the greatest. Go check out the archives. Even tell a neighbor. Tell him Bobby sent ya. From spring to winter, tuning in should be the only thing on your agenda. Certified cosign, you know what I'm about, son. Real Fans, RealTalk.com. I'm out, one. Real Fans, Real Talk. Real Fans, Real Talk. Real Fans, RealTalk.com. Real Fans, RealTalk.com. Real Fans, Real Talk. Real Fans, Real Talk. Real Fans, RealTalk.com. Real Fans, RealTalk.com.
See, even when you're on vacation, you're out of town, still good to get it in. I'm over in Holbrook, Massachusetts. Mark the Statman Skevich, fully fit fighter fitness face-off. Getting some MMA action going along with a little bit of boxing, hitting the bag while I'm out of town. Still got to get it in, you know? Gonna have my toughest MMA fight so far. Heard a lot of things about this fighter. One of the toughest out there, so I'm really gonna have my work cut out for me, and let's hope for the best. I might get demolished, you know. We're gonna see what happens though, all right?
Let's get ready to rumble! Ladies and gentlemen, welcome.
And do your throw.
What's going on? It's Trip Yung. You know I'm not too far from the Statman. I am in the gym with him, but you know somebody got to run the camera when we out of town, not in the studio, and we got the crew with us. So that will be me. But once again, we're at FAF GYM. We're going to try to come back tomorrow, see if we can get an interview with Shawn, who actually runs the gym. He's a good friend of mine. Used to train Butterbean. I know everybody knows Butterbean, one of the biggest guys. Statman's gonna be the second coming of Butterbean by the end of this whole journey through MMA and through boxing training. So we'll see you guys when we get back in New York. For myself, Trip Young, Mark the Statman Skevich, Real Fans, Real Talk.
Mark the Statman Skevich from Real Fans Real Talk here with Shawn Graham, trainer at FAF in Holbrook, Massachusetts. And Shawn, the first thing I want to ask you is what made you start getting interested in martial arts, mixed martial arts in the first place?
I took done martial arts since I was a kid, since I was 9. And I grew up in traditional martial arts. And as I grew older, I transferred into more combative arts, boxing, kickboxing, grappling. And then, like the 90s, when the UFC became popular, it kind of changed the way martial arts was done. Traditional martial arts, people were finding out they were very limited. There wasn't the technique and stuff wasn't transferring over to the mixed martial arts world, and I had taken an interest in it, and I started to pursue more of the mixed martial arts end of it.
So what did you start with first, karate or?
I started out as a child doing karate, and I went into boxing, kickboxing, and then lastly, I started learning how to do some grappling, groundwork, and try to incorporate that into what I was doing already, because it became obvious that that was a missing piece of the martial arts that most people in this country weren't doing.
And I also heard that you were a roommate with Billy Blanks and the Thai Bo.
Yeah, we
Thai Bo
lived
guy.
together for a couple of years in California. We were like best of friends for a long time. He's living in California now. I moved back home to help my family business, and he stayed out there.
So did you have a part in that at all? Like, did you train the same type of stuff as
Yeah,
him, or you were doing your own thing?
No, we were training together. He was my Taekwondo teacher. When I came up growing in traditional arts, he was my Taekwondo teacher. And, when we moved to LA, there was a lot of the fitness end of it happened, and his Taibo exploded.
And another famous person that you trained the famous Butterbean, which I'm trying to be the next Butterbean unless I lose the weight. But what do you?
Yeah, me and Bean became friends probably about 3 or 4 years ago. I was in Korea cornering a friend of mine at a fight, and Bean happened to be there, and we kind of instantly hit it off as friends, and he asked me to start working his corner for the last 3 years of his career. He retired this year, so we don't really travel much anymore. We did some stuff in Korea, Poland, Canada. We traveled quite a bit in the last few years, but he called it quit this year. So
definitely one of the famous names in boxing and mixed martial arts, fight man contests and everything. Butterbean.
For sure, everybody knows it worldwide. No matter where we went, everybody knows Butterbean.
And also on Jackass, knocking out Johnny Knoxville in the department store. But what do you train here at FAF?
We do quite a bit of mixed martial arts. We're more of a stand-up base gym. We're not like a traditional ground gym. More of my background is boxing, kickboxing. Mm-hmm. Of course, we incorporate the ground stuff, but I would say I'm more of a striking gym. And half of what we do here is a lot of fitness. We do a lot of fitness classes, obviously we feel that the training of boxers and kickboxers and mixed martial arts is a great training. So we use that in a physical fitness workout sense. We do a lot of bag work, cardio, different plyometric drills that the fighters use for their training also.
All right, Mark the Statman Skevich with Shawn Graham. If you're in the Holbrook area or anywhere near there in Massachusetts, FAF is a great gym. Worked out here last night. Got a nice little workout going, and that's what the Fully Fit Fighter Fitness Face-Off is about. If you're trying to get in shape and learn some martial arts in the process, it's definitely a great place to be. So, Shawn, thanks for being on the program.
Thank you.
All right, realfansrealtalk.com. Check us out.
What's going on? It's Trip Young back here at FAF Gym. Statman just finished interviewing Shawn Graham, who is the head of FAF Gym. It's been a fun week out here in Boston, but we got to get ready to make our way back to New York. We got to get back on the air on Tuesday. Y'all know the time, 5:30 p.m. We'll see you guys back in New York. Peace.
Mark the Statman Skevich, Real Fans, RealTalk.com, out here in the freezing cold outside of TD Garden in Boston. Knicks are about to play the Celtics for the second time this season. Gonna have a little bit more of a thorough thing when it's not freezing in March when they play again for the last game in Boston Garden this season. But for now, it's freezing cold and showing the New York pride and ready to enjoy the game.
What's going on? It's Trip Yung. You ain't think I was gonna let the Statman come out here by himself with no security. You know, you say I got the Nets hat on because I gotta take Brooklyn wherever I go. But we outside at the TD Garden, getting ready to go in, make some noise in here, get a little bit rowdy, and rep from New York like we always do. Real Fans, Real Talk in Boston, coming to you live from the TD Garden. Trip Yung, Statman, we here. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is Trip Yung, and I'm back here on myself and the Statman. You know, we took this road trip to Boston, and we took a break from the studio this week to show you guys some of the sights. We've been to the MMA gym. We've been to the Garden. We got some footage out there. You know, we got into a little bit of trouble since the Knicks beat the Celtics the other night. But we're still here. We still made it. And now we are at WGBH. This is one of the biggest radio stations in Boston. And I'm here right now. This is family right now. It's not even friends no more. This is associates. This is family right now. This is my uncle, Eric Jackson, and we're right here in the studio while he's on the air live for Eric in the evening. Now, I don't want to toot my family's own home, but we've been in radio for a long time. You're looking at 40 plus years in radio, and the #1 jazz show in Boston for a very long time. So, you know, he's seen some of the greats come through here. Wynton Marsalis has been here. You know, he knows Guru. He knew Guru. You know, rest in peace. And he's probably you can't speak about jazz in Boston without hearing about my uncle. That's just who he is in this city here. So I'm just going, you know, first of all, thank you for letting us come into the studio and get a little bit of footage.
Sure.
Now you're coming up actually on 44 years in about 3 weeks. You're coming up on 44 years.
Right.
What is that like?
Well, you know, it's first of all, you just have to be thankful that you can do that because the business is so crazy that you know, most of the other people that I knew who I thought were good at doing what they do just haven't been able to survive for this amount of time. So you certainly have to be thankful for that. And in addition, it's certainly been a surprise. I mean, if you'd have asked me 44 years ago, what were you going to be doing 44 years from now? I doubt if I'd have told you I was still going to be on the radio, you know. So I think that's also, you know, something that's very special. Just the fact that I was able to do that for so long, you know.
Okay, in 44 years, can you tell me what was your biggest moment on radio?
Well, I'd say I've had a lot, but I'd say one of the biggest things I've had, you mentioned longevity. My father was the first African-American radio announcer in New England, and he went on the air in 1947. He was only on for about 3 years, but I just thought that was great, and I used to have him on with me to do a Father's Day show every year. He did that for probably 25 years. He came on, he picked out all the music. I didn't pick any of the music that night when he came in. And I used to joke with him and say that he was a wonderful resource because there's not a lot of people who can call in their father and say, here, come do a radio show with me. And, you know, every time he'd come on, he could tell stories about different musicians. And they would be new stories that I hadn't heard. So he'd be blowing my mind. You know, like, you were sitting with who? Really? You know? So I think that was kind of special. Talking to Dizzy Gillespie was a special treat because he has so much to say about the music that it was just you just know you're in the presence of just a figure that could tell you so much about what's going on.
What would you say to someone like myself, like Statman, or just others in the industry that are trying to really progress their careers? How do you stay relevant? How do you stay ahead of everyone else? And just how do you keep your passion and your drive going for so long?
Well, I think one thing is you have to really love what you're doing because there are going to be times of disappointments, and you have to be willing to try and stick through it. Now, it may mean in some cases some suffering. I can remember years ago I was scuffling, and my father came up and said, "Man, you don't do something here soon, I'm going to take you home." And I just said to him, "Well, you know, I know the reason you left radio is because you had a wife and 3 kids to support." I said, I don't have a wife and 3 kids. It's just me, and I'm willing to go hungry for a little while to make sure I can do this." He just shrugged his shoulders and walked away. You know, so you may have to go through some hard times, but if it's something that you want to do, you find a way to do it. Even if at times you're not making the money that you want to make, if you're able to support yourself doing something else, but you're still able to be creative in the way you want to be, you know, you have to consider that if that's what you want to do. If you say, "Well, this is really what I want to do," then you have to go get a job working in the store if that's what you need to do to support yourself while you're trying to work on your craft.
Real Fans, Real Talk is a sports show, so we gotta have to talk a little bit about sports while we're here. I know we're in Boston, and we've had our heated rivalries in baseball, and now it's actually heating back up in basketball with the Knicks kind of reemerging. What's your take on the Celtics this season?
I think the Celtics have some big problems this year, and I think they've surprised most people because I think that a lot of people thought that they were going to be doing much better than what they were doing. One, I don't think Paul has been performing the way that he had been performing in the past. He's had terrible shooting nights. I don't think Jason Terry has been shooting well with any sort of consistency. So there's part of their offensive problems. And they have been crying all year about poor defense. So if you're not putting the ball in the basket, you're not stopping somebody else from putting the ball in the basket, you're in trouble. You know, and I think that's what's happening to them. I just think that they've got to find. You know, in the past they always talked about getting easy baskets, but part of that was dependent on stopping people. If you stop people, then you can run down the court and get a fast break. They're not doing that, so you know they're in trouble.
All right, last sports question. What's your take on the Kevin Garnett, Carmelo Anthony back and forth? Was Kevin Garnett out of bounds with his comments?
You know, I've heard that both people denied the comments that were said. I heard both people said that wasn't what was said. Some of that stuff, you know, I never played for a high school team or a college team, but you know, some of that stuff is like in the schoolyard, man. You know, guys would half kill each other during a game, and when the game was over, you just walked and went home. You never even thought about it. And I don't think those cats were really worried about anything like that. You know, I mean, I think that they had a problem on the court, and I bet you that for the most part now, they're not even concerned about that. They just want to play basketball.
Does this Celtics team have one more championship run in them?
If they do, they better step on the gas. I'd like to think so, but if they do, something's got to happen soon. I mean, there's been the talk of some possible trades, and it would depend upon who and what they get and what they give up in the trades. I'd say Rondo has to stay. I'd say probably KG has to stay. Otherwise, I don't see what they're going to get in return that would make a trade worthwhile. Jared Sullinger has been playing well, and he certainly might be trade bait. But by the same token, if you trade him, you've got to get something that's going to be really worth the value. So I'm not even really that sure there are really a lot of trades that are going to be available to them. Somebody that's going to come in and really help the team immediately.
There you have it. Once again, this is Trip Young. We are coming to you live from WGBH, and we're on the air with my uncle Eric on his show, Eric in the Evening, the #1 jazz show in Boston. If you haven't already checked it out, you better check it out. 89.7 FM for all your jazz hits and a little bit of talk. You know, he got the smooth radio voice on him that runs in the family. That's that smooth Dr. Love kind of voice. So y'all better tune in, and I'll see you guys back in New York in the studio. Peace.
Mark the Statman Skevich, Real Fans, Real Talk, here with the legendary Eric Jackson.
Yeah, man.
44 years in the radio industry, playing the hottest jazz music out there for the people up in Boston. 89.7 FM, WGBH. Like I said, 44 years playing that jazz music. And make sure you guys check us out, realfansrealtalk.com, for our TV show, radio show, TV show every Tuesday, BronxNet Television, playing live on realfansrealtalk.com. Also our radio show, 7:30 p.m. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/realfansrealtalk. It's for all fans, not just, New York fans, even Boston fans, Red Sox fans, Celtics fans, all sports, all teams. Check us out, realfansrealtalk.com. Hello everyone, Mark the Statman Skevich, Real Fans Real Talk, realfansrealtalk.com. Finishing off the trip in Boston, the Knicks with the victory over the Celtics before, over in the TD Garden, over here by the loser Gillette Statdium. This is Sunday, January 27th. There will be no football being played over here. Last week they lost in the AFC Championship to Trip Young's Ravens. So both his Ravens and my Giants have a little bit of a habit of beating Tom Too Cool recently. We're over here. Trip is finished. Had to pass by the stadium of the losers. As you can see, the parking lot is very desolate. We have the Real Fans Real Talk limo guy waiting for us over there. He's ready to take us back home. But that's not our limo. I think that's Tom Brady. He's in there crying. The usual Bradying like this. Doing one of those in the middle of the locker room, all by himself.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's Trip Young. We was on our way back to the city, but we had to make a quick pit stop. I know if you've seen the B-roll, it's looking like a ghost town over here. That's because the boys took a loss to Uncle Ray and them last week. Shout out to the Ravens. But I had to make a quick stop just to, just on the way back, because it's a good thing out here what happened last week and what happened, last year to these guys. So for Real Fans Real Talk, this is Trip Young. I'm out here with the Statman, and we at Gillette Statdium right now. Just wanted to see what it looked like, see if there was any memories left. Maybe we could have bumped in Tom Too Cool or something like that. But as you guys can see, kind of empty out here. It's real empty. The Ravens sent them boys home packing, and you know, we just gonna be now our trip is officially complete. We've taken you guys all over Boston. We made a stop in Foxborough here so you guys can see the ghost town. And of course, for myself, Trip Young, Mark the Statman Skevich, we will see you guys back in the studio. Real fans, real talk, baby.